Hello and welcome to another episode of Truly Bedrock with me, Mr. Beardstone. Now you may remember, a few episodes ago, we had a bit of a run-in with Tiz where he had moved into our house and then discovered it was actually us that was trying to make him paranoid about things and, it didn't go particularly well.
You made me paranoid? I'm moving out. In your bed, I found this book here.
Let's have a look.
It's your master plan.
To-do list.
Found it at the end of your bed. It's signed. This says by Mr. Beardstone, original. It's signed by you. Look, I'm moving out. I don't feel safe in there.
But since then, I've been home, and I think the cheeky little fox has stolen from me. I think he's stolen an elytra out of the box that was at the bottom of my bed because it's no longer there, and it was definitely there before. And to be fair, it's been about 2 weeks since the incident, and I've not had any repercussions. So maybe this is part of his grand master plan. I really don't know. But either way, I'm going to have to try and track him down this episode and see if I can confront him and obviously retrieve my spare elytra. Cheeky little fox. Our plans today are mainly going to revolve around doing some more terraforming and of course building a bridge to connect up our portal island and the new path that we put in over the back there, and I've run out of rockets, so I'm just going to slowly spin around, and I really need to stop doing this third person flying thing. It's a terrible idea, it never works. Where am I going? See, look, now I'm lost. There we go. God, that was just play the music. So as I was trying to say, since last episode we have done a bit more work around... Ooh, TizzTom just joined. Well, we're going to have to hunt him down in a moment. So, third time lucky, hey? So, in between episodes, what we have done is done a little bit more terraforming around this area here. So this island has been expanded a bit more. We've also removed some of the blue that was all over this island because I really didn't think that was fitting in too well. But luckily for you, I did also record it as a time-lapse. So before I show you around too much, let's take a look at what we did. was at about that point during the stream when my brain absolutely melted, and I had to stop. I couldn't think of what I was trying to do, and basically I was trying to get like a small fishing camp or shelter or something going on down there, and I couldn't really do it, and my words failed me and everything, so I had to stop. And yeah, it turns out I should have checked the video footage before I said I was going to show you a time-lapse, because I forgot to take the overlays off on the cam accounts, and that's why it looked a little bit low quality. I did zoom in a little bit to get rid of those. It was the best of a bad situation, so sorry about that, but I promise I'll give you a much better, usual standard quality time-lapse type thing later on in the episode when we build the bridge across this gap here. But before we can get to that bridge, I must go down here and tackle this fishing camp. So originally the idea was to have some kind of shelter or something like that, but after giving it a bit of thought, because of the kind of nature of this area, I'm actually going to remove the shelter altogether, and I'm just going to get a couple of logs in essentially, and a campfire, and just have a very basic campsite here for the fishermen, maybe a storage barrel or two, and that'll be about it. As we go further up here, we'll have a couple of custom trees in here, and then if I can get away with it, I'd like to put a tree that's kind of dying, as it's getting closer to this stuff, and we've still got a little bit of terraforming to do around the back here as well. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing to start off today's episode, and then as I say, later on we are going to tackle the sort of bridge across here. I say sort of bridge because we do have a very, very cool plan with that, which we actually came up with on stream. We were throwing some ideas around, and then Rosie MC suggested something in particular, and everyone just kind of ran with it, and I think we've got a really good solid idea now. So yep, we'll get to that later. Oh, look at me, I'm such a tease. And actually, while we're on the subject of bridges, you may notice there's a sort of path coming down here as well, and the idea is I'm also going to put a bridge across here, probably at an angle, so the path comes down, goes over that way, and then there'll be a small path that leads down to the campsite there as well, just so we can link up the whole thing and actually create a sort of scenic walk around the whole area once it's done. So yeah, what, 2 bridges this episode? Maybe? This one is not a priority just yet, but that one over there certainly is. I've gone and collected the resources I think I'm going to need for this, but first things first, I need to remove the tent that we had put up before, but I didn't bring any shears with me, so I'm going to punch out the wool, dig up the rest, and then we'll make a start. There we go, a nice blank canvas, that's what we like. So the main thing to think about at the moment is the fact that we need a path that goes down to this jetty, and then we want a sort of campsite area over here. So I think it would make sense to maybe actually sink the campfire down a little bit, because that's like the safe thing to do, right? That's a safety thing. That's what people do. Sink the campfire down a little bit. Yeah, that seems like a wise idea. So other than that, we're just basically going to terraform the area a little bit. We're just going to get some podzol in, make the area look well trodden. We'll mix in some coarse dirt as well, and maybe even the occasional bit of stone and whatnot closer to that side. And also, we're going to need some form of stairs to get up the blocks over that side. There we go. So I think something like that looks a lot more appealing. It's nice and subtle. There's not too much going on around here. There's just a couple of barrels, a lantern, a couple of empty mugs, and some seating and a fire. And I think that simplifies the whole area and is much more along the lines of what I was actually after. Besides that, I've not really gone out of the bounds too much around here. So this bit down here, I think I'm actually going to replace with sand, because I think it would make sense to have this bit being sandy, and I'll probably just get rid of them bits altogether, or maybe replace them with a little bit of rock. And then further up around here, we're going to get a couple of trees in. So they are going to be kind of custom trees, I suppose, would make more sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, what type of trees do we want though? Do we want more of the dark oak or more of the spruce? I suppose, So the spruces are going to be a bit further back, and then we're going to have a mix of spruce and dark oak here, which is pretty much going to continue, I suppose. So maybe it would be worth sticking a dark oak in here and then a spruce behind it, so that there's a bit of elevation going on there. And round the front here, maybe 1 or 2 smaller trees, although to be honest, with where the beach is going to be, we might be better off just using a few bushes. So yeah, next step I guess is for me to get some trees down. On my way back I did actually realise there was one thing I hadn't really done yet, and that was just to add a few stones and to fill in some prior creeper problems that we may or may not have had. Let's just block those in for now, we can fix that a bit better later. But yes, I do like to use stone buttons every now and then, not too many, not too few, just having them scattered about and having them sort of on the grass as well as on the stone bits themselves. Sort of, you know, you see that and you think, okay, cool, yeah, that's a rock, and then when you see it elsewhere, it just kind of works. So that is my hope. Although I have noticed, is that a Bedrock thing where they all face the same way? Does it not make any difference what way you stand? Ah, that's a shame. Either way, I think it still adds to the effect, so we're going to spam a few of these down as well while we're just going and grabbing our tree-making stuff. We have got that area looking much nicer now. We've got a couple of custom sort of pine sprucey type trees, and we've also got a dark oak tree in there as well. And if I just get up here, you can see that now the path from up here actually leads down nicely into this area. Could maybe do a little bit of bone meal here and there as opposed to the shovel. Just, you know, a little bit of extra grass, get rid of that. And yeah, I really like how this has come together. It's just like a nice, quaint little sort of camping area. And then this goes out onto the sort of ocean jetty. And maybe if I take a couple of these corner bits off from the sands, that should all look lovely, nicey. Cool. Yeah, so that is basically what I was trying to do yesterday when I was streaming, and just had a complete brain failure on that part. So at least we managed to come back and get that sorted today. So, on to the next thing. So the plan here is to, essentially, we were trying to decide whether we were going to do like a rope bridge or a sort of wooden plank thing that sort of planks between the different basalt pillars. And then, as I said, it was Rosie that came up with the idea of doing a sort of destroyed bridge. So as if there was once a proper permanent bridge here, but it's got a bit bad. So we got discussing things with the rest of chat on stream, and I think what I'm going to do is put in a support on that side, a support on this side, and possibly a support in the middle, depending on the size, and the rest of the bridge is actually just going to be basically resting on these rocks. It's going to have collapsed. So you'd still be able to traverse across it without having to jump because of the way that I'll put it all together. But yeah, basically it's going to be sort of a collapsed, ruined bridge, and that is actually going to lead nicely into what I was planning on doing on the rest of the path over that side as well, which is essentially just to get a few ruiny bits in. So where these rocks and things are, some of these, what I want to do in certain places, so maybe here for example, would be to actually build up something that's a bit more man-made, as if there was once like an arch going over here or something here that's been ruined, and just add a couple of ruins into the area. And the sort of bricks I'll be using will of course be chiselled stone and stone brick and things like that. So that is the same kind of style and bricks that I wish to pull into the bridge over here. So it's going to be very stony, it's going to be lots and lots of stone in fact, and then there's also going to be a fair amount of wood to sort of, you know, plank across certain gaps where the bridge has maybe fallen down further into the ocean depths and so on. And yeah, I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to pull this off. I really don't know if we're going to or not.
It alright. I got a girl who comes home at night, makes us breakfast just in our underwear. Oh, I swear she's got most of her teeth, shining bright like the sun, when no trace of your sadness has gone. That you found the right one. Woo! Oh yeah.
A short while later, and I have built the basic structure of the bridge, and I know I said it's going to be a ruined bridge, and I promise you it still will be, but it's much easier to actually just build the bridge first and then ruin it afterwards. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. When building the frame of the bridge, however, I did not put in the walkway because this is... it's my chicken! As I was saying before I lobbed my chicken into the ocean there, I haven't put a sort of actual walkway into the bridge. So my plan is I'm actually going to go out and start building that in just a moment. So I'm pretty much going to be using slabs, probably just stone slabs initially, just to sort of slab out where the bridge is going to be falling down, where it's still connected, and so on. And the initial bit here is actually still going to be connected, and then it's going to be caved down and sort of leaning over that middle basalt rock, if that makes sense. and then I'm gonna smash up the sides and bring the sides down. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's just put the music back on. Let's carry on.
We got a car that's 20 years old. Lucky us two don't do what he's told. We go driving down the I-95. We're alive, yeah. We've got most of our teeth. Driving slow in the sun. We're no trace of your sadness has gone. And you know that you found the right one. You know that you found the right one. Yeah, you know that you found the right.
Oh, I tell you what, there's nothing quite like building a bridge and then smashing it up again. I really enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the montage. So you probably got a good idea of what it looks like, but we'll show you from afar, we'll do some flybys. And just so you're aware, I've also added in a couple of sort of ruined arches and things, like I said I would. Nothing too major at the moment. I'm going to play around with the design of those, and just a couple of posts over here as well. But who cares about that when we've been building this? And this is now our path to the portal. So there's, you know, you want to use the bits of wood that have been stuck on the side there, otherwise you're not going to make it across safely. But I really like how that looks, especially when you first come through the portal. You can just see the ocean right through the middle of the walkway that you're supposed to take. So we did actually end up removing quite a lot on this side, and I sort of piled up some debris down here, as well as adding a few bits down the bottom there, but they are fairly deep down in the ocean as well as further round, so not too much debris on the surface here. But I really like how this has come out. I think it's just right for the area where we've got this sort of bridge between two worlds essentially, and the fact that the bridge is just trashed I think really adds to it. And I keep walking into things. I'm trying to get down the bottom here to show you what it looks like from the side. So from here you can see where the original bridge was that you saw sort of halfway through the time lapse when I took that break in the middle of it, which was a bit odd for me, but you know, that's what we did. And just with these lanterns hanging down and the foliage, and I'm going to stop waving my mouse all over the place so you can actually have a look at it. But yeah, I think that works really well. I'm very pleased with how that's come out. Something I'm not quite so pleased on anymore are those trees. I'm just not happy with them. I'm probably going to have a play. I'm not happy with these ones either. So what I'm probably going to do is play around with some trees in creative and see if I can't actually work out a way to make these style of trees and make them look good, because them ones are too chunky, I think, and too Christmas tree-like and a bit flat on top. And yeah, I don't know, they just look weird. So I need to really work on that. So I've been keeping my eyes out all episode for Tiz, but I haven't found him. However, I have discovered this, which I believe is his nether base. So if I can't find Tiz, I'll just see if I can find my elytra. How do I get in beyond that? Oh, stairs, there we go. Nice. So, okay, a little furnace, and oh, he's literally got them right there on display. That's ridiculous. I'm just gonna make sure he's not actually here. Tiz?
There's someone in my house.
There he is. He's right there. Hello, Tiz.
Hi. What are you doing in my house?
Well,
Beardstone?
it would appear that you've stolen some elytra from me.
I didn't steal it. I didn't steal it.
What, this? You didn't steal this elytra right here, which is.
I was trying to.
What?
I was trying to get you to come here to confront you about the whole booby trapping thing.
I didn't booby trap anything, I think you'll find. But what? This elytra doesn't appear to have any durability left. What happened there? Have you been using my elytra?
a problem?
Could be. Could be, Tiz. It
I
could.
thought you were taking so long to come back and get it, though. I thought you
Well,
didn't want it.
I didn't actually notice it was missing until recently. I noticed you're holding a totem of undying. Are you a little bit nervous there, Tiz?
I'm fine. That's I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, conveniently, it's not your week to die yet.
Is it not? Am I safe then? It's coming up though, isn't it?
It's very close, Tiz. It's very close. It's very close indeed. Following that interaction with Tiz, we did actually end up leaving our elytra there because, you know, it was basically broken and it smelt like fox. So we decided just to throw it back at him and essentially tell him that his days are numbered. And then I probably ran away because he's really good at PvP and I'm terrible at it. Absolutely terrible. Sadly, that is all we have time for today. I was just about to take off then as well, and then I realised that flying in third person is a bad thing to do, so I'm going to stay on the ground and everything will be fine. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do hit that like button, and if you're new here, please do also consider subscribing. But for now, that's all from me. Bye-bye now.